Hey friends, it's Nicole, and we're here with week 15 of our Theme Park Thursday series. I hope everybody survived the wintry weather last week. Here down in Alabama, we had a doozy of an ice storm, probably the worst road conditions I've ever seen in my life. The whole town was basically socked in for almost a solid week. It was an ice rink out there. I, however, managed to sneak out before the roads got incredibly bad and was able to be up in Maryland at a scrapbook retreat with one of my Creative Memories team members. I met a few of you there. Hello, Helen. Others who I hadn't met before, but I think are new viewers of my channel. It was super fun to meet you. So today's layout originally was going to be a double page layout with all the food that we had done or we had eaten at our day in the Magic Kingdom. But as I got looking at my photos and looking for ideas, I decided I wanted to split it up. So instead of having one double page layout that's going to be here at page 15 in my album, I think I'm actually going to be putting this next in line, but I'm going to take the other food, which happened earlier in the day, ice cream. Of course, we ate ice cream before we ate dinner, and I'm going to move that layout farther back. So when we get to the end and I do the flip through, or maybe even when we do the layout, maybe I'll do that one next week. I'll decide where it's going to go, but it just felt right to do this as a single page layout, especially when I found this really cute idea on Pinterest. And I think that originally it was a digital idea, but I, of course, have done it traditionally because that's what I love. So the paper pack we used is called Daily Docket, one of Creative Memories' older collections. And we used the Dine Border Punch and, of course, the blue collegiate stickers, which I'm using for this whole album, the collegiate, not necessarily the blue. So I hope you'll stay tuned for how we put this layout together. I hope it will give you some good ideas, and I'd love to hear what you think. So here we go. So my original plan with these photos was to do one double page layout for all the food we ate that first day at the Magic Kingdom. Of course, this isn't all the food we ate, but these are the ones we have pictures of from our first day. But as I was looking at these pictures and then looking on Pinterest for some ideas, I realized that these three are from Storybook Treats, and this is from the Adventureland Aloha Isle, the Dole Whip place, and these four are from Pecos Bills. So I could kind of separate them. This is kind of all ice cream related, and this is more of our dinner. And then I found this layout on my Pinterest boards. I actually ended up making a whole new Pinterest board called Disney Food Scrapbook. I pulled this out of my regular Disney scrapbook page, and I love this. I love the round circle. I love the knife and fork. I actually think I want to use the Dine Punch, which is the knives and forks and plates. But I want to do something with the circle and kind of put all together with the Dine Punch. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to separate these out. I'm going to do a separate layout. And this is going to come before this in the book, but for purposes of today, we're going to be doing the Pecos Bills layout today, and I'm going to come back and do this another week. But we're going to start with this one, and we're going to use this kind of plate layout as our basic starting point. So I like that there are kind of divisions borders between the pictures. I'm not real sure how to do that. I have an idea in my head of how to make it work so that I can cut the concentric circles. I wanted, of course, to use my beloved circle maker, but I think actually for this one, it's going to work better if we use the jumbo circle from the custom cutting system. So let's move these to the side, and we're just going to use these, and we're going to figure it out. And I don't know yet which paper I'm going to use. This is a very Disney themed paper, but Pecos Bills is kind of Southwestern. So I think I might try to find something a little bit more Southwestern, Tex-Mex-y for this one, and I'll use something either Disney or ice cream for this layout. So I think I might like to try using Daily Docket. It's kind of got this little Southwestery theme paper. This is an old collection, probably from 2016 or 2017. And I really liked it, and I bought a lot of it. This was also a collection that Creative Memories did that only had one piece of each paper in the collection. So I bought a couple packs of it so I could have 2 of each. And I've ended up with a lot of kind of random pieces. Here's this one that I think is very kind of, you know, like I say, Southwest, although I do love the yellow polka dots. So I almost hate to use this side because I like the yellow polka dots. But maybe if I use this as my background for Pecos bills. I also really like the dots, but I don't think I can make that work. And in fact, I might not need any other full pieces. I've got a bunch of little scraps that might work. I could do that one. I've got this stripe, this piece right here. I've got some of the yellow polka dot that I love. That kind of would go with maybe some of this. So let's try that. And I think what I want to do is to try and cut these in a circle, a smaller circle, and then cut the outside circle. So this is an experiment. This is, I guess, what this layout series is all about, right? Is for me to kind of figure things out and you to watch me while I figure that out. So what I think I want to do is I'm going to trim down these photos. I'm going to make like my base page. I think I'm going to put it on a piece of white paper and cut it first, and then I'm going to stretch them apart to leave that little gap in between the photos and the paper. All right, so here's just a piece of, you know, one of the paper inserts from one of our paper packs. It doesn't matter which paper it is because you're not going to see it. Of course, you want it to be something that's photo safe. This photo is just all the things we bought. We got the fajitas and this little ice creamy thing. So this one I don't want to crop. These I can crop down because I don't really care about what else is in the photo. I hope I won't be sorry. But I'm thinking I want to, you know, to be able to use some of these other papers. And then this one, I'll cut this part off. So that's kind of what I want to go with for the base of my layout. Okay. So I kind of want this to be, it is kind of sad that we have the 2 desserts. So I want, where did my circle go? Here's my circle. I want to be able to fit inside, I think, this small circle. I think that would be a good way for me to, I don't really want to cut those nachos off. I kind of want to cut, that little corner could go off. So I could do it kind of like that. And then I could do this over here. This, I could trim her down a little bit, I think. This right there, and Katie right here. So I think what I'm going to need to do is to cut that picture, cut off her cute little fairy wings. We haven't even really talked about these fairy wings yet, but that was really a fun part of this trip. So I just want to fit these in here. Kind of like that and like this. It doesn't give me a whole lot of space for extra paper because I don't want to cut too far off. I guess I don't have to do this close-up one. I could do this right here. No, that cuts a lot of Katie off. That one right there. I think that's less, that's, well, I think maybe that's okay to cut her off. It's awfully close cut. So I think I want this to be here. And then this one can be over here. Down here. Maybe I'll trim this little section off, and then that fits everything in this circle. except that I'm going to be using the red blade, so it is going to come and cut a little bit in right here. So I'm going to start by sticking these pictures down. It doesn't really matter like if they're centered or not, because I'm going to use the, you know, the circle, the jumbo circle and not the circle cutter. I'll put this right here. I think I'll do it like that. So I've got some space on either side. Oh, I should have used repo. Actually, I didn't want to use repo because I'm going to move these around a little bit. And this one. And that one. Okay. How does that work? That looks like pretty much what I want, I think. And then I'm going to fill some papers in. Oh, I kind of want something. Maybe I need to trim this guy. I think it's okay if I trim that. I think I want these to be the same width. So I'm just going to use my cheater method, which is to take the picture here and I'm just going to mark it with my thumbnail right there and trim off that. And that's going to give me the same size. Kind of have to change the angle I look at this right here. But that's going to give me the same width right here. All right, it's almost the same. It's close enough. Excuse me for that little cough. And then maybe I want to move this up a little bit now that they're kind of, so they can be kind of centered around the circle. Okay, I think that's good like that. And then I'll put some of these pieces in the corners and I'm just gonna kind of tuck in. And I'm going to separate these out later, so it's okay if they're not exactly, I really like the polka dots, but it's too, I don't know how that's going to be on here. Well, I guess that doesn't matter. I'm going to put this one right here. I'm just going to trim this guy off right about there. And I'm just using scraps for this one. Or maybe I want, I'm going to use my background paper with the stripes horizontal. So I'm going to put this one vertical. I think I want the green. So this goes right there. I'll put the little, I really like these little circles. Wonder if I have a bigger piece of that. Yellow. Oh, I've got this corner piece. Oh, that'll work. That'll be perfect. Because what else am I going to use this little corner piece for? So I'll put this little corner piece right here. And then I kind of wanted to have the two darker ones kind of kitty corner from each other. That one has a rough edge. I'm going to trim this guy up a little. Put it right there. All right, except now that I'm realizing that if I cut this with the red blade, there's no circle that's one size bigger to be my mat. I think I'm going to cut it with the red blade, and then I'm going to cut my other mat with the red blade on the outside, and we're going to see if that works. If not, I will pull out my trusty circle cutter for that. So my red blade in this little box. And I just want to make sure that this is pretty much centered. See, right now I'm kind of losing some of that dessert. So I'm going to scoot this up just a smidge. So it's barely touching the top of the picture right there, because that's going to give me, you know, as much of this picture as I can get. And then this is also barely touching. All right, so now we hope that I stuck all these pieces down. And because I'm going through 2 layers, it's a little bit trickier, because I want to make sure that nothing slides. Oh, I just felt that one rip. Not a great feeling. but I think it was the outside that was ripping the paper. All right. Okay, so it just swirled, so obviously it was cut all the way through. It didn't quite line up. You know, I've talked about that before. That's one of my things I don't love about the circle, the custom cutting system circles. I can't always manage to get it lined up evenly. So I'm just going to take my microchip scissors and round that off. Okay, so now I'm done with this. This is now, you know, trash scraps. I could pull these off and save them, but I'm not going to. Because like I said, it's Daily Docket. I've had it since 2015. All right, and now I'm going to take a contrasting paper, and I think because I think I could either do a brown or a navy. So let me pull a couple of papers to see what color I want to do for my base. And I just lost the little piece that was supposed to go here. Oh, it went off with its with the other trash. Okay, so let me pull some brown and some blue and to see what we want to do. Okay, so I've pulled a few colors kind of that are in this color family right here. I'm going to move this out of the way so it doesn't distract me. This is just called blue. You know, we have lots of different blues. This one is just called blue. This is navy, and it gives a different look. The blue is kind of bright. The navy is a little richer. I also pulled brown. This is one that's called regular brown. It is retired. This one was called Caribbean Orange. It was from a cardstock buffet a while ago. And this is called Island Waters, and it kind of matches this little zigzag right here. So I don't know which one I want to use. So I think I'm just going to kind of put my pictures against the colors. Like, I don't think I want this one. This looks makes my daughter's skin look too orange. So we'll pull that one aside. And I also don't think that one. I don't like the color. So I think we're going with either the brown, the blue, or the navy. And I think I just like this regular blue more than any of those other colors. So now what we got to figure out is if I can use my jumbo circle or if I'm going to be sorry. I think I'm going to take another piece of scratch paper and cut the next size up circle and see if that's going to work before I cut into my real cardstock. I do have a whole pile of this old scrap paper. So if you don't have it, you may not want to, you know, be quite as wasteful as I know that I am being. And I remember I want to be able to put the Dine Punch, and so I kind of don't want this to be too big. But this is the outside with the red blade. So this is the size I would do. And let's see if I can find my ruler. All right, so here's my zero centering ruler. So this piece is now, looks like just over 11 inches, which is maybe a little bit bigger than I want. This piece is not quite 9 inches. So really, I probably only need a piece that's about 9.5 inches, and that would be the right size for this. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull these apart. I hope it's going to work. I'm going to pull these apart and kind of leave a gap. And I think this is going to be too big of a gap using the jumbo circle. Yeah, see, that's just way too much. That gives me like a whole inch. I don't want it that big. So let's use the circle. Oops, I don't want to stick these on top of each other. Let's use the circle maker, and we are definitely going to use the Post-it note hack. So I already have a Post-it note that's right here. It's losing its sticky a little bit, but I think it'll be all right. And then I'm going to make sure that I have this right in the center because I may need to cut this down after I've done it once, just because I'm experimenting with the size. So there's the center. And we'll just line this up right here. Let's stick in. There's the sticky edge. Okay, right there. And so this is the one I decided it was about just shy of 9 inches. I think I'm going to cut this at 9 inches. I should have done this one. Maybe I'll do this one first at 9 inches just to see. But I don't have the Post-it, so we're going to have to just guesstimate with this guy. So I've set my circle cutter at 9 inches. And I'm going to use the non-Post-it trick, which is that this little piece that looks like a little clicky top to a pen, as long as this is on the paper, you know it's not going to go off the edge. So I can just tell by looking, this is about the center. And just by going around, it's not going to be centered, but it's going to give me the right size. So that's the 9-inch circle. And so now if I take these little guys and put them on, yeah, this is much more what I am wanting. Just a little bit of a gap. Oh, maybe I needed a little bit bigger even. Let's see. Because I want to be able to leave a gap like right here. I guess if I did this and I just put it all the way at the edge, because it's a circle, the curve should be, you know, perfect. Positioning these is a little tricky so that they line up. All right, so this is the 9-inch and it goes right to the edge, and that's not what I want, because I want there to be a gap around the edges, a border that's about equal to this, which is about 1/8 of an inch. So I need it to be 1/4 of an inch. I want 1/8 of an inch around on either side, so I need to add 1/4 of an inch, which is a little tricky with this trimmer or this cutter, because they do it in 2/10 of an inch increments. So I'm just going to have to kind of ballpark 20. That's 50 right there. 0.5. I'm going to go right 20. All right, we're just going to guesstimate, and I'm putting it between the 9.2 and the 9.4. That would be 9.5. So we're just flying by the seat of our pants here. And I'm going to use this so that I end up with a piece that I can, you know, use for something else later if I want. You wouldn't have to do this, but I'm going to. So if you haven't watched my circle cutter hack, I'll post that in the comments or the description. Okay. All right, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this over in case I need to cut it down. I'm going to leave the Post-it note on for now and see if I can arrange these pictures so that I get the look I'm going for with the little gap at the top and the bottom. And this one, when I went around, I felt it was a little bit rough. I don't know if I came out of the track a little bit, so the edge isn't very clean. So I'm just going to cut that with my scissors and even that little guy up a smidge. And I just have to match the curve right here. All right, I'm just looking and I see that some of the adhesive got trimmed off when we trimmed these photos. Add a little bit more adhesive. And I'm just eyeballing it, trying to keep this line straight and this line even. Oops, that wasn't even stuck down. That one also lost most of its adhesive when I cut it. Because I plucked these up, even though this had adhesive, it's not sticking very well. Always give a little more adhesive. All right, I think that's working. This actually looks like now it's a little This one's a little farther out. So I might need to scoot these guys over just a hair. All right, I think that looks pretty good. This was in the top corner. That's gonna come right here. Oops, okay, this is gonna be a little trickier, I think. Oh, this is gonna help me figure out where this one needed to go. Obviously, it needs to go down a little bit. This one. So this isn't working now. This is... I'm gonna have to do some repositioning. Perhaps I should have used the repositionable adhesive. It could be that I just need to go out a little bit more. A little bit less of a border. And because it's a circle, we just got to kind of figure out the one that is straight, just kind of right here. And then the others will branch off of it. Maybe the problem is because I needed to fit 2 gaps into that one, because I don't love this a lot. I think I want to put this back. So this is the gap that I want. Well, that kind of worked right there, actually, didn't it? That's a little wider than I wanted. So, you know, trial and error. Sometimes I just am figuring out things, how things are going to work. And I think what's happened is because on the sides, I want to leave 2 gaps, and on the middle, I just want to leave 1. That's why it's not fitting. So I'm just going to trim a couple of these. I think I'm going to do this one right here. See, that kind of works right there. It's just the top one that needs the extra space. So I think I'm just going to trim this guy like an 1/8 of an inch. Kind of make it as straight as I can eyeball it. I guess I can use that corner. Trim a smidge off of this. It needs a little bit more. I'm so scared of cutting too much. Better to cut, have to make 2 cuts than to have cut too much and be sorry. Which I kind of maybe just did. But I think that's going to be okay. Don't tell anyone that I had to do that. Well, see, now that doesn't match in the corner. Scoop that up a little bit. All right, that was a bit of a mistake, because now right here it doesn't quite line up. But maybe we'll put an embellishment there. We won't tell anyone. And I'm not going to do anything more with these pieces. I think that works okay. And so there's our little plate circle, which gives me that look that I wanted. That fell off, so it's a good thing I didn't need to recut it, because it's an old Post-it note. So then I want to put this on here. And I want to do the Dine Border Punch along the top and the bottom. So this is the Dine Border Punch. As I'm looking at this spacing is a little bit bigger than I would like. I think I'm going to trim this down just like a little bit more than maybe 3/8 of an inch, and put this same 1/8 of an inch-ish border all around the outside, and I'll use this circle piece that we already cut the middle out of. So let's trim this off. Okay, I don't want to cut too much off. I don't know if I want it to be exactly the same. like that same 1/8 of an inch with this, or if I want a little bit bigger. I think I want it a little bit bigger now that I look at it. So I think I'm going to cut a 1/2 inch off of each side. Not each side, a 1/2 inch off the vertical and a 1/2 inch off the horizontal. Just going to make this not symmetrical at the top and bottom. Will I care? I don't know. I think I'm going to cut a 1/4 inch off each side. Somebody asked me recently how you find the 1/4 inch, and in case you don't know, it's this outside gray, the far side of the gray strip. So if I cut a 1/4 inch off each side, then it's going to be still symmetrical because I'm going to cut this little blue stripe off both of these. But since we're putting it on the blue, that shouldn't matter. Okay, so I'm glad that I cut my circle out of the middle so that now I have this rest of this piece that I can use for this. And if you wanted to, of course, you could cut a frame out of this and you know, save on bulk in your scrapbook. But oh, I do love these yellow polka dots. All right, so we'll just center this guy on here. It looks pretty good. And then I'm going to put this in the middle, and then I want to cut those little silverwares with the Dine Punch. And I think maybe I want this color. I don't know. I was thinking I was going to use the brown, but it's looking kind of dark. I don't think I want the turquoise. I think I'm going to do it with this Caribbean orange, I think is the name of the color. This is a really thick cardstock. This is from one of the cardstock buffets, so hopefully it will get along well with my Dine Punch. Oh, that's tough. All right, I'm not going to make you guys watch me punch this one. This one's taking a lot of brute strength. So I'll just finish punching this and be right back. All right, here's my 2 Dine Border Punches. And I haven't stuck this down yet. But I think if we do it like this. Oh, I like the way it goes all the way to the edge. Maybe I don't want it at the top and the bottom. Or maybe I'll put the one at the top behind the circle. It's flipped over. Does it matter? What do you think? Do I put them both on top, both behind? I kind of like it with this one underneath. I still got to put my title somewhere and some journaling. So I think I might move that down even a little bit. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to kind of center this between these 2 stripes and that between those 2 stripes. Pull this out. I do love the repositionable for fiddly punched out borders like this, because I can just use what I need to use. Oh, we decided over and under, right? So maybe I need to stick this down first. Because this is heavier, I just feel like the permanent adhesive is going to do a better job holding this in place. Tuck that behind. And this is one that, you know, part of me wants to think about measuring, but I think I'm just gonna eyeball it, making sure that lines up with the lines. And then we'll do this piece. And tuck it behind. All right, so now what do we do about a title and some journaling? There's not a lot of journaling that needs to happen. So the name of this place is called Pecos Bills. I kind of like the idea of writing Pecos Bills. It's called something else. Pecos Bills, Tall Tales Inn and Cafe or something like that. But I think I'm just going to do Pecos Bills. And I know I've used a lot of the blue letters lately, but I think it needs to be the blue letters that says Pecos Bills right here. And then I might just do a little journal box. I don't know. Let's figure that out. Let me get the sticker letters on here, and then we'll come up with a plan for the journaling. Because I want to do my letters on the curve, and I'm not exactly sure where I want them to start. I know I kind of want them to end about right here. I could just come backwards, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this circle, and I'm going to just stick them on here just to help position it. And I'm using this inside track because that's about the distance away that I want them. And so after I stick them on here, that will help me know like where I need to position them for real. So let me do that. So I've been referring to it as Pecos Bills, possessive, but I looked it up, and according to the Walt Disney World website, it's just called Pecos Bill Tall Tale Inn and Cafe. I am not going to put Tall Tale Inn and Cafe. I just think that's too much. Maybe I'll write it, but I don't want to use all my sticker letters for that. So I think I want it about right there. So if I put the L kind of right above this guy, hopefully that will line up. And I'm just going to eyeball it and to try and follow the curve along here. It's a lot. It's a busy background. I don't know, but I think it will be okay. So I did go ahead and look this up on the Pinterest. I clicked on the actual link and went over and found it's from a message board called Mouse Scrappers, which has lots of Disney stuff. I don't know if it's still an active message board, if people still participate there. I never was a member there. But I did see the name of the person who designed this. And so her screen name is Monster Mama. And she did this, it doesn't tell me when this was posted. This design was posted. So I have no idea. But Monster Mama from Northern California. Oh, okay, Wednesday, March 19, 2014 is when she posted it. So thank you, Monster Mama. Loving this page. And there's some other cute things that they kind of did with the same template, which is fun to have all these ideas over at Mouse Scrappers. So now all I feel like I need is a little bit of journaling, and I think I just want to put a little white square right here and just journal on it with a blue pen. So let me find a piece of white scrap paper. So here's something I obviously cut some another circle out of at one point. I'm just gonna I'll start with I think I can do a 2-inch piece. I think it's probably gonna be more like 1.5 inches, but let's start with a 2-inch piece just so I can trim it down if I need to. And I'll get my blue pen out. We also have a navy pen, but I think I'm going to use this lighter blue. And this is bigger than I want it to be. I don't want to take up too much space. But I'm just going to figure out what to journal, and then I'll be right back. And I think that this is I'm going to call this finished. This is going to be done. So I'll journal and be right back. Okay, I've done my journaling. I'm going to just trim this piece down. Easier for me to journal on a little bit bigger piece and trim it down than to try and cram it onto one smaller piece. I still didn't write quite as straight as I wish I would have, but I think that's okay. And I just said we ate dinner at Pecos Bill Tall Tale Inn and Cafe in Frontierland, where we shared the fajita platter, so we'd also have room for dessert. So I hate to cover up this one little piece that I liked, but I think that that's going to be the best thing to do with this this particular journal. In fact, maybe I'll just pull that piece off so I don't have an extra layer. Sorry, little piece. I liked you. I'll straighten this guy up a little bit now. All right, I think that's done. I think I'm happy with it. It doesn't really have much embellishment, but I think it doesn't need it because the background is super busy. It's got the punches that kind of acts as the embellishment. And then just the design itself is has a lot going on. And I think if I put anything else here, it would be too much. So here we have layout number 15, I think, of our Theme Park Thursday series. Ended up being a single page instead of a double page, and we're going to have a layout that goes back somewhere else with the ice cream stuff. But I like it. I think it worked out well. It's not exactly like the inspiration layout, and that one was a digital layout, I think, with a template. It was digital. There's a lot of stuff that's easy to do, relatively easy to do digitally, because you just drag and drop and it automatically crops it for you. A little bit harder when you do it traditionally, but I have done some digital scrapbooking. I think it's great for some purposes, but I love playing with paper. So here we go with Pecos Bills. Do you think it needs any other embellishment, or you think this is enough? So thanks for watching. I hope that everybody survived the wintry weather, and that we will, we're having pouring rain this week. Last week we had an ice storm. Who knows what next week will bring. So wherever you are, I hope you are staying warm and dry and having lots of time to scrapbook. Thanks a lot. Happy scrapbooking.